my Christian rapture mother.
Well, because he said growing up, he couldn't have TV in his house. They didn't literally have a TV. They don't need TV to go watch the World Series.
And she changed
everything. It completely changed everything now.
He said, I will burn this house down.
Close for the streets.
Best one line ever. Our God, who can raise people from the dead. 1 6-year-old girl, she's someone else's dress. Nope, can't help her. Hey, welcome to Not a Fitted Podcast. It's your boy Anthony Conservative Chicano. I got my guys. I got the Bishop. I got the Token. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in these last couple of weeks. They've been banner, Hallmark episodes. We appreciate it. Do not forget, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes. You can find us everywhere podcasts are being displayed and listened to. Trust me. Please leave a like, leave a comment. We try to answer all those comments. And do me a favor and share it with somebody else. I think they'll be blessed by it. Guys, I'm going to start off with a confession. My Raiders ain't going to win 8 games.
I think I had 9.
Yeah, we're not winning 8 games.
You'll play 9.
I'll play 9 games.
I don't know if
I'm not going to win 8 games. So you know what that means, right? But I got to buy you guys lunch again.
But here's the bad thing.
Are you concerned for me?
Yeah, because
why?
Because Arch Manning was supposed to be the next thing to slice bread, and he doesn't look like.
I don't want Arch Manning.
I know you don't.
I don't want Arch Manning.
So you end up with the number 1 pick. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to think of it long and hard about that. I got to think that through.
Robert, what was his name? The offensive lineman. Remember him?
Oh, Robert Gallery. Yes,
Robert Gallery.
Him. Yep, I remember Robert Gallery from Iowa, I believe it was. Fact check me on that. That's how good my Raider knowledge is.
There you go.
I have one hope, and my prayers have adjusted. Why are you grinning at me? You got to look at like what? I knew you wasn't going to win any games. Look at me.
Yeah, I already know this, and I don't know why we were talking about it. This is obvious. I'm going to blink twice. Let's keep moving on.
Anyway, I've changed my prayer. To all the Raider fans, listen to me and lean in. We have to change our prayer. Our prayer shouldn't be, oh, Lord, help us to win. Our prayer should be, oh, Lord, let Tom Brady be the owner. What you think?
I was just thinking like a Christian and thinking like because we don't want him the owner to die.
No, he needs money.
Because my thought was you don't have a chance until he dies. But maybe if he sells the team, then he doesn't need to die.
So he needs to sell the team. That's right. Sell it. There you go. What do you think about that? That's the only prayer I got left.
I don't know. I mean, you choose to be a Raider fan. You're choosing to suffer. I mean, this is build something spiritual in you. You should be getting stronger. You guys should be the strongest believers, Christians out there. So, but somehow it seems not to turn out that way. But
Paul's letter to the Raider Nation.
Yeah. Your suffering produces endurance.
Endurance, long suffering? Yeah. For what? The hope of what? One day?
I don't know. Hoping, I don't know, being a bear parent. I don't know. Something.
Okay, time out. Okay, since we're on the subject, not the subject of the Raiders, but football, that is. There's going to be a Super Bowl. And there was some controversy this last week, spilt over into the weekend with Saturday Night Live. Are you guys familiar with Bad Bunny? Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
I know the name.
Okay. Do you know any songs?
No songs.
Do you guys know any songs? Any songs, Bad Bunny? The genre is called reggaeton, right?
We will slightly judge you if you say yes.
Okay.
No, he's young. He's young.
I've heard him. I've been to Pizza, so like I don't know the titles, but I know a few lyrics.
Okay, okay. So only one person out here, Nate. Okay, Nate knows a little something. So here's what happened. The NFL came out and they said halftime shows, which I'm not gonna lie. Did you guys like last year's? Wasn't it Kendrick last year? Or no, it was last. Yeah, last year was Kendrick, and the year before
still waiting for
Usher.
somebody with talent to.
Yeah,
to do
I felt like. Can I be honest? I felt like the Super Bowl halftime shows haven't been good since like Bruno Mars.
They need to bring. Yeah, you got to be like a Justin Timberlake.
You got to be an entertainer.
Yeah, you have to be good at something.
Yeah, that's that. Anyway, there was too many like secret innuendos with Kendrick and all this stuff. And why'd he wear that? Why'd he crip walk? Why'd he do? And I'm like, I ain't got time to keep up with all that. I just want to be entertained. So I did like when I believe it was Red Hot Chili Peppers did a Super Bowl. That was good. I like entertainment. You know, I like.
You had your West Coast rappers.
Nah, it was all right. I mean, the only thing that made that good was the nostalgia. But I like it.
But they're old.
Exactly, and I like it to be fresh.
But that's never mind.
Okay.
That was
Anyway.
good. I'm not trying to say you're old, but that's what you grew up with.
That's why I said it was nostalgic. I'm not arguing with that. I am old, and it was nostalgic.
I was trying to say you're old.
But Bad Bunny, not. By the way, I don't really. If I know who's doing the halftime show, that's when I determine whether or not I'm going to watch. I mean, I may peek over, but I use that time to go get food, to go eat, go to the bathroom, talk with people. You know what I mean? Like, is the game good or not, right? Am I even going to stay and watch the rest of the game? So I'm not really moved by that. But everybody started getting their feelings and getting all boo-hoo-hoo, and then it started why we got him going. Why can't we get like an artist that sings in English because he just raps in Spanish or does his music in Spanish?
Oh, he doesn't do any English.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Wow.
Wait, hold up.
I didn't know that.
The whole thing's going to be in Spanish?
Okay, watch this. Can we show this clip? Watch this clip. This is him on Saturday Night Live. That's what he has to say to people who ask if he does anything in English. Go ahead. So everybody got super mad after he did that monologue and basically said, that's your problem, not mine. You need to learn Spanish. So now everybody's just up in arms like, why did he do this? He's antagonizing people. The official language is English here. Why aren't you doing something in English? They're mad at the boycott. Boycott halftime Super Bowl show is trending. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I didn't really care. I mean, I see why people are upset, but what's your thought on that? Since we're talking football right now.
I'm not opposed to somebody doing part of their performance in another language.
He's doing the whole show.
But the whole show in Spanish is a little ridiculous to me. I think that it's a little bit of like it's a subliminal, up yours.
Oh, okay. That's a way to put it.
And I don't know if that was.
You went with the good.
Well,
you might as
there
well
it
go
is.
with it now.
It's out. It's out there.
We're there now. Where's the Jerry German face?
So I mean, I think that's what it's a real political statement. But the NFL is super woke as it is, and so it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, what was your thought on that?
Yeah, I'm shocked that they're doing it. It's weird. I don't know why.
So
you would do that.
They got Budweiser as the sponsor too, bro.
I mean, unless you're trying to, this will make more money. It has to be.
I guess. Let me just hear if I'm hearing you guys correctly. So you're saying to have other artists, and if some of it's in other languages, no big deal. But to do the whole thing in a different language in San Francisco, I think the Super Bowl's in San Francisco on American soil, right? I think that's what you're saying. Like, why are we placating to a certain demographic? I do have a question, and I mean this as a legit question, like for reals. I don't think anybody else in the world would do that. Like, I don't see going to Mexico in their biggest soccer championship or whatever, and they get an artist from America, and they're only going to do it in English.
No, we talked about this last week or the week before last. Like every other nation in the world is proud to be from that nation.
Yeah, I don't see France,
but we're not allowed to be proud,
right. That's
proud
what I'm
to be
saying.
American.
I don't see France or Germany. I don't see. I'm trying to think of countries that do this.
Oh, I'm sure Russia would do it.
No, well, I thought you'd be China. I don't see China doing that. Does that make sense? But I think to me, it's one of those ones where, like with Bad Bunny, if you just wouldn't have said anything, it'd die down eventually. But instead, you come up on SNL, you speak. I understood a lot of what he was saying to the people, like, hey, this is an honor for the people around the world that are going to get to tune in. All this. I get to talk to my people. However, to me, I'm just thinking if you want to try to be. I'm not saying this to stir the pot, but if you're trying to be inclusive, I'm not trying to use that to be a trigger word, but if you're trying to bring all people in together, that's not the way to do it. That's all I was saying. If the NFL was looking, hey, no, we're just trying to cross some bridges. We're just trying to do some things. So why don't we have you perform, and we're going to have this other person perform. And you guys go ahead and put water on the fire. Don't put wood to the fire. Because all you did was put wood to the fire with a comment like that. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know.
What was the phrase? Go woke, go broke.
There
it is. That
so,
Super Bowl, we're going to see that.
Okay.
I don't
Watch
know.
a halftime show. Guarantee the halftime show ratings going to be down.
Probably. Here's why.
I don't know. I mean, this dude's huge. From what they're saying. Like,
No, I don't doubt that he's huge, but he made so many people upset. Like, they're like,
you got to think of the base. You got to think of the base of people who watch football.
Yes, no, I agree. But I think they're trying to get a wider audience.
No. Yeah, no. That's exactly. That's exactly why they did that. Mm-hmm. But it's the base that tunes in. Mm-hmm. You have two factors. The first factor is who's going to play in that game.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with it. The second factor is who's doing that halftime show. So all I'm saying is, if you have two obscure teams that don't have a large following, then they're already the ratings are going to be down. And those people, if they're in conservative America, Kansas City, I just got back from Kansas City. Sorry, the Latino population in Kansas City were not represented. Okay, people were trying to figure me out when I was there. All right, this is not going to happen. So are they really going to tune in? That's
but I know everyone kept saying like the NFL is going to suffer. Black Lives Matter, like COVID, all this stuff. NFL made it through. I mean, just like, the owner of the Mavericks, he's coming out with the NFL, you guys are a pig, you're going to get slaughtered. Well, you sold your team now and they got bigger.
Oh, you're talking about Mark Cuban.
Mm-hmm. Is the NFL just so much they keep proving that, hey, we're so big, you guys can't help but come back to us.
what they may have, right, is you have people who are just going to tune in just for the halftime show.
Mm-hmm. Well, they said that happens, yes. People.
Okay, well, let's take that. Everybody suffered during all that. That was proven. Nobody took it worse than the NBA. We know that. But the NFL did suffer. There was some steps back.
No, but I'm saying even with like CTE, everyone's worried NFL's done. Kids aren't playing football anymore. And they keep proving again that, hey, no, we'll keep growing.
Well, what it is they didn't suffer as bad. That's
and out of that, just keep growing.
They do.
Their teams keep selling for more money.
So that begs the question then. What I was going to tell you was there's this hashtag going on, alternate Super Bowl halftime show. And so you got people asking for some country artist. What's his Morgan Wallen? Oh yeah, that's what his name is. Hey, Morgan Wallen should team up with so and so. They should do a country halftime show. That'll draw people from the NFL. Guarantee. Talk about big artists. Morgan Wallen's huge, and I'm not even a country fan, but he is huge. He's crossed over everything, coming out with all these celebrities. That tells you how big he is. They're talking about bringing back some 90s alternative rock, like having Creed and a few other bands join together, do an alternate halftime show. Now, but the best one, and I'm doing this on purpose. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Nothing like watching two worship leaders have beef with each other. I talked about the beef between Corey Asbury and Forrest Frank. That's some good worship leader on worship leader crime right there. They have recently came out and said, why don't we throw a halftime show? So I want you to see this clip for yourself. I mean, I think the NFL is in trouble now. Watch this clip right here.
All right, y'all, I just had an insane idea. What if we did an alternative, family-friendly halftime show for the Super Bowl? Every year, everyone is all up in arms about the performer for the halftime show. And I get it, because 9 times out of 10, it's raunchy as heck. You're seeing stuff you don't want to see. You're hearing stuff you don't want to hear, especially for your kids. So what if we threw together an alternate show at a different venue with just the biggest Christian artist and glorified the name of Jesus on a gigantic scale at a gigantic level? I've already talked to my boy Forrest. He is down to clown. He's down to play music is what I mean. Who else would you want to see there? My vision is this: blow it up huge. Let's get a stadium. Let's go crazy. While people are glorifying money and fame and sex and all kinds of stuff that we don't want to see, we can lift up the name of Jesus. So if you're down, like this post, share it with your friends, and suggest who you think should join for this show.
Do you think that would work?
I think people would tune in like on TV or something. Can you get people into a stadium is what I want to know.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? I thought that through because I was hoping one of y'all would ask that. If
What do
that
you
was
mean?
in, like, can you get people to a stadium for the show? So let me answer that.
Like they would be wanting to watch the Super Bowl instead, you mean?
No, they would
watch
go
the show
instead. So I thought about that. Just hear me out. I have a thought, and just tell me if you think this worked. If you went to somewhere in the South, like at Alabama, and you got permission from the NFL to show the Super Bowl on the Jumbotron, and then you had a show like that, do you think they do 40,000, 50,000 people?
I mean, that's the bigger issue. It's getting an NFL to show the show.
No, I'm asking you a question. Well, I know Nick Saban can arbitrate that deal. I mean, so could the senators there. So
No,
could the governor.
I believe that you don't even need to do that for them.
Because it's public broadcasting?
No, I'm just saying I think that they could do a show on Super Bowl and still sell it out.
Okay, but my question is, do you think they could fill Bryant? What is that? It's Nick Saban Field at Paul Bryant Stadium, I think is how they word
No,
it.
I'd shoot for like an NBA stadium.
Oh, okay.
Shoot for like 25,000, 30,000 people.
Okay. So you think they could fill it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think if you were able to log in, you think parents would choose to watch that over a Bad Bunny, who's been known to be bisexual, who's been known to dress trans, very suggestive lyrics, very, very nasty. Do you think you
I
think it would chip away?
I think that would work. Yeah.
Okay.
I think people tune into it. That'll work. Filling the stadium, I'm still not sure.
Okay. I was with you on the filling the stadium part, only up until it depends on where the stadium is. That's the only reason why I can't sign off on that, because there are some parts, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, there's some parts where like this guy, both of these guys, their tickets $400-$500. Like they pack them out no matter what.
Christians like watching football.
Well, no, I was going to say, but what I've come to realize is, yes, they like watching football, but like they're not as sold out on their NFL team as they're sold out on their college team.
Well,
in some of these areas.
people,
That's why I was saying that.
And people will drive.
Yeah.
You know, people will drive 3, 4, 5 hours.
If that headline's big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
for like a whole show, you know, like a whole like 2-hour show.
But he brings up something, and I want to segue to this, and I want to look at the camera and I want to tell people, I'm going to speak from you from two hearts. I'm going to speak to you from a father's heart, but then I'm also going to speak to you from a pastor's heart. And I don't mean this in any distasteful, disrespectful, or disgraceful way, but I'm giving you a warning. If you are a Christian mom or dad out there and you are suggesting your kids to listen to Taylor Swift, or you are making this permissible and allowable, you may need to check yourself. And if you are signing off on going to the concert with your little teenage son, daughter, whatever, you may need to check yourself. This album is demonic. She is foul. I would go as far as to say she's got demonic influences, and y'all need to really pray this through. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, I can't read all the lyrics, but I would like to read to you the lyrics of her latest song. But we will bleep out some of this stuff just in case your kids are in the car. So the beginning, I'm only going to read stanza 1 or the verse 1 and then the chorus. It says, when I found you, you were young, wayward, lost in the cold, pulled up to you in a jag, turned your rags into gold. The winding road leads to the chateau. That you remind me of a younger me. I saw potential. I can be your father figure. I drink that brown liquor. I can make deals with the devil because my blink is bigger. This is love. This love is pure profit. Just step into my office. I dry your tears with my sleeve. If you want your kids thinking you can make deals with the devil or use explicit language about a male's anatomy, then you go ahead and do that. But that's not glorifying God. And you really need to think this through. And you probably should be listening to what your kids are listening to. Trust me, and I'm the guy. Everybody knows me. I'm the guy that I say, hey, music is for the most part kind of neutral until you get lyrics that talk about selling your soul to the devil and making deals with him. Then it's no longer neutral. We're not talking no old school Earth, Wind, and Fire here, okay? We're not talking, some songs, some Tower Power stuff. And no, we're talking full on, you bringing up his name, talking about you going to make a deal with him, and then you use explicit language like this. And then you wonder why your kid don't want to go to church, or they don't love Jesus, or they're not singing worship songs because they're, Taylor Swifting themselves out. So I don't know. Do you guys want to chime in on that one? I think Corey Asbury brings up a point though. What we allow ourselves to come into our spirits is going to taint us. So anyway, in reference to the Super Bowl halftime show is what I was going at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm always a big proponent of, if you allow your kids to watch things, know what they're watching. Do you allow them to listen to things, know what they're listening to, or at least do your best? I've got one that just entered into middle school, so it's like you do your best.
Right.
When they go to school, they have a lot of different influences when they're there. But when somebody explicitly like just puts it out there like this, there's no hiding that. You can't say, "Well, I didn't know." Like, there's no ignorance in this one. She's no longer the singer that she once was.
We are a long ways away from Love Story. We're a long ways away from that.
I can hear it in my head, but I don't know the words.
Yeah, but we like...
Sean, you got it?
Yeah, but we...
No, I was trying to figure out what you're talking about. I really talking
okay.
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we are a long ways away. That ship has sailed. We're full on into some foul stuff now. What do you think? What do you think about that? I mean, we're just trying to help parents. Like, we're trying to give them a warning. Like, this is not good.
Yeah, I mean, just like Mike said, you should know what they're listening to, know what they're watching. Best that you can.
But does it make you a bad parent if you put your foot down and say, "Hey, we ain't doing that"?
No. I mean, your kids get used to it. My kids ask now, "Can I watch this?" It's not even an argument. It's just that was a standard that was already set beforehand. It's the same way I grew up. I mean, eventually I ended up listening to rap, but it was never in the house. I mean,
well, okay. If we're honest, we all know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: you grew up in a house where it was completely unacceptable. But when you would listen to that rap, did you ever have the thought through your mind like, "Man, I know I shouldn't be listening to this, but I like it"?
No.
But okay, so what were you thinking then?
no, this is cool.
Okay.
I remember listening to Outkast on the bus. I was like, "Oh man!"
And they made some good albums. So
Yeah,
that's true, yeah.
it was cool. I mean, it.
But did you know if your parents found out you'd be in trouble, or would they say something to you, or what?
Yeah, they would say something. I mean, my parents trusted me quite a bit, but I mean, I knew. I didn't feel that bad. To tell you the truth, I didn't feel bad listening to it. But there was
did you know it was wrong?
There was always a standard. I mean, I don't know. I'm not making a good argument for it, but I'm also gonna lie to you.
He was also listening to some pretty that was pretty nice rap.
No, but I wouldn't listen to anything that was really demonic or things like that. Like some of more like things like when I listened to rock music more, it was like, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to this. Like certain
Metallica.
Certain. I mean, some songs I like, but it was like, man, you know what? I can't listen to you selling your soul to the devil. I got to listen to this song. This is going a little too far.
Deshaun wasn't listening to Brother Lynch on the way to school.
Yeah. This was that conscious was built into me.
Right.
Like what you're saying, it was built into me. I mean, there's times I sort of ignored it, but there's times where that pops up. So come back.
You ever notice how music does affect your solo? Like you could hear a song and it could take you back to memory lane. You ever trip out on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I was like, man, I wish I could remember scripture. Like I remember some of these songs. But yeah, you hear a song and it takes you right back. Or you see all these like professional athletes, like they literally listen to music, a certain type of music, to get them ready to do something, right? So it's like, let me listen to something really hardcore, metal, rap, if I'm a football player, because it's going to get me angry to go and hit somebody.
Hyped up, yeah.
I mean,
I'm concerned. Listen, I'll never tell any parent like what to do, but I am just so concerned because we masqueraded with some popcorn and some pop, and some bubble gum, and we think it's cute. These lyrics are dangerous. Matter of fact, I know you guys aren't the biggest of Jason Whitlock fans. I am for the most part. I think he's pretty spot on a lot of times. However, there are times that he just does too much. And I would tell him if I knew him, I'd say, hey, Jason, sometimes you just do a little too much because you are a professing believer. And as professing believers, he needs a picture of Pastor Jerry Durman too. That's what he needs.
Yeah.
So
he's got to stay relevant.
But he did go on TMZ, and I just want you to hear his argument. I want to get your thoughts on this. We're talking about music. This is still going back to the halftime show, Bad Bunny, and all this stuff. Taylor Swift. We're just trying to educate our audience here. Go ahead.
How's it demonic?
Bad Bunny's music is demonic, like most commercial rap music is demonic. It promotes things antithetical to Jesus Christ. That's demonic. This guy is a Latin.
But wait a minute. Let me ask you something. I don't believe in Jesus Christ, okay?
I got that.
I'm Jewish. I am Jewish. And are you saying that every Jew is by definition then demonic?
Are you a gangster rapper? I'm talking about music. I used to be a rap singer.
Jason, we've just celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And you're sitting here saying that you still believe that all rap music is by definition demonic? Is that really the hill you're going to die on?
No, I said commercial rap music that promotes drug use, sexual degeneracy, violence.
I think you made your point. You and I definitely live in different worlds, Jason. And more power to you.
You live in Los Angeles.
More power to you, but I ain't going into your world if I can help it, I gotta say. Look out for the chairs flying off the rooftops there in Nashville.
And Harvey, I want to enter into a world where Jesus Christ reigns. So yeah, we got different points of views on this.
We do indeed, and I don't say that with any embarrassment, Jason. Thanks.
Thank you.
Would you think? First off, what'd you think of Jason's comment as far as he's saying most of that hip hop industry is foul and demonic? What'd you think about that?
Probably so. I mean, I don't know.
You think he's wrong? You don't think he's wrong?
No, I wouldn't argue against them.
After all we've seen with the Diddy and the Diddy parties and all these artists and all that.
But I don't even think you have to dig that deep.
Go ahead. That was going to be
I
my
would say
point.
that's anyone in power. I mean, I would go even broader.
This
Yeah.
was it, but
Yeah.
you're right. But this was in regards to the halftime show and what he was saying. Why no to Bad Bunny? That's why. But for the most part, yes. You were going to say though.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have to dig that deep. I
No, you
agree.
don't have to dig that deep. You just listen to the music. What do they talk about? They talk about everything that, like he said, is antithetical to Christ. I mean, it is what it is.
It is.
You don't have to wonder like, hey, what are they really talking about? They say it.
They do.
I mean, you letting your kids when they're younger watch rap videos?
You can't,
Well, why not?
Even when they're older, they shouldn't be watching. It was nasty. They're foul.
Yeah, I mean, so he says commercial rap. And so I think that's the stipulation I think that some people would agree with, because not all rap is like that.
And he didn't say that either.
But I mean, the bishop has said it multiple times that it's hard to be a rapper who is also a Christian.
Right.
Because just the genre in itself is extremely rooted in pride. It's kind of like listening to boxers right before they fight each other. I'm the best, I'm the greatest. You're the worst, you're the least.
Right. I don't have any problem with what he said. He didn't overgeneralize, and he said, I'm trying to walk my faith out, and I want a world that honors and lives and glorifies Jesus Christ. I don't like how that guy says, well, I'm a Jew. It had nothing to do with the conversation.
I mean, spiritually though, you watch that conversation and you see
They turn sour grapes real quick.
That was wild.
That was. I mean, if people want to see evidence that like this stirs up demonic activity, look at what happened. He quickly turned it to himself to make himself a victim. It's like, bro, I love how Jason Hanley goes, I didn't say anything about it. He goes, are you a commercial rapper? Then it wasn't about you. And then he says, I unashamedly say we live in two different worlds. I'm like, bro, what is your point? Once again, I'm gonna say this until people catch it. You need Christians in this world. You need us. We are the only ones who believe living at peaceably with people at all times. It ain't happening anywhere else. Even right there, it wasn't happening. You will do what we say. We will shove this down your throat. No, you will not. Because we live for something far greater than ourselves. And that was proof positive. I try to tell people that was proof positive.
Well, and they like commercial rap because now people like Bad Bunny are commercial rappers. But they wouldn't have liked commercial rap in the early 90s and late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, time out here. Y'all ain't old enough for this. I've been waiting to say that because you said me old earlier. I grew up on this. I was living in SoCal before NWA came out with their, Straight Outta Compton. We was hearing rumors on that. I was going to Slosson's Boulevard, baby. That's where I got my first Kings jacket. How many of you know about that starter Parker jacket right there? Kings. It's a little Kings hat with chucks. You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyway, I digress. My point is, it's Cortez's. It's creased Dickies. Anyway,
The face of rap music is Bad Bunny, who kisses dudes on stage.
And it's not.
Can we bring back some good old gangster rap?
No, they won't. Well, that didn't go. That did not go where I thought it was going to go, but okay.
Let's go. Could you imagine Bad Bunny in the 90s?
No, it was unacceptable. It wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen.
Somebody call up Tupac from Jamaica, wherever he's at.
Oh, he's alive. Well, him and Biggie are still hanging out. My point in saying that is that I grew up with it. Like I remember lying so I could buy the NWA CD. I mean, tape. Tape. I think that people got to understand that I understand this genre. Like this is what I grew up with, and it is foul. Like this low hanging fruit. Like there's nothing about it. I mean, when Dre and them came out with Chronic, it speaks for itself. Like I don't understand what the argument is, and that's why I just try to tell parents we really, really got to look at this. So I respect Jason Whitlock for holding his ground and saying, hey, listen, I just want to glorify God's kingdom.
And I think he did it in a very tasteful way.
How was that not tasteful?
I mean, one of the reasons why I don't like him is because oftentimes, I should say some of the reasons why at times I don't like him is because he gets a little out there.
He does, and he does too much, and that's what I'm saying. If I knew
but right there, he was good.
He did really good. And so anyway, okay. On other news, though, I have to ask you guys a question. It may make us all uncomfortable, so I'm warning us ahead of time, okay? But first, I got to tell you what I got to ask a question about. Robert Morris got sentenced. For those of you who know, Robert Morris was a pastor of one of the largest churches in Dallas, Texas, called Gateway Church. I think they had like 17 campuses, 25,000 people. It was also one of the wealthiest churches. Cindy Clemenshire was a young girl when he began to sexually abuse her. There's no statute of limitations in Oklahoma. They arrested him, took him back to Oklahoma. Go ahead and click on that. I'm going to read to you what they actually got him on and how long. It says Robert Morris, founding pastor of Gateway Church of Texas, a Texas-based megachurch, pleaded guilty on Thursday to, here it is though, charges of indecent conduct with a child. The charges stemmed from an investigation to allegations that he sexually abused a young girl in Oklahoma more than 40 years ago. The plea was entered during a scheduled hearing in Osage County. Afterwards, Morris was sentenced, listen to this now, 10 years in prison with all but 6 months suspended. He will serve his time in Osage County, and then he'll be placed on the probation for 9.5 years in Texas and is required to register as a sex offender. He will also have to pay Clemenshire $270,000 in restitution. So, Robert Morris is found guilty, pleads guilty, and he is going to do 6 months in county, which is he more than likely, because of the status of who he is, would not be in Gen Pop because he's just too well known and they can't have anything happen to him because he's a high profile figure. Probably do, I think, will he do all 6 months? Possibly not. Possibly more like 4 maybe, and then the rest of the time on house arrest in his home or something. But the thing that I want to ask you guys, which people were blowing me up right away, they were like, well, how do you go from 10 years to 6 months? And I didn't really have an answer other than good lawyers. And he has a lot of health problems and he's older. Now, I don't know if that was why, but I guarantee it played into it, right? Do you feel like 6 months was fair for what he did 40 years ago? Just in your own opinion, brother, this is your own opinion. Do you think 6 months is fair, or is it washed, or what's your thoughts on that? I know who goes first, huh?
I don't know. I need to tell you the truth. We knew about the story.
I didn't think he was going to get any jail time at all. Just to be me being honest.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't know. My immediate thought is, man, if I'm this girl's parents, obviously she's already older. But just how would I feel? Like, this is my family member. How would I feel in that situation? That this guy just only gets 6 months and then he gets to spend the rest of his life at home in his nice house, comfortably. How much is he actually getting punished for that? So,
that's fair. Your thoughts?
So a lot of layers to this one.
Exactly.
Pastor Jerry, what would you say to this one?
That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. I mean, it really depends on how you look at it. On one hand, he lost everything.
He did.
And so to some degree, he has been punished. And to another degree, it's, he got, 6 months with a 9-year lid, so if he ever does anything, he's got that automatic, but he's not gonna do it. But this is also the state of the judicial system in America. If you have money, you're gonna beat it.
Ask Diddy.
So
just ask Diddy. What is he doing?
He's
5 years in the federal, 4 in the federal.
He's on paper. He's going to do 6 months. I'm telling you right now, he's not doing 6 months. And if he does, it's the nicest 6 months you can imagine.
Absolutely.
But it's like, what are you looking for? Maybe you're the young woman and you're just wanting him to have to admit guilt. Maybe. And
he had to. That's what he had to plead.
Like, I wasn't crazy all those years where I was coming to the board and I was telling people that he did this. Like, I told you I wasn't crazy. He just admitted it. So maybe for her family, was the admittance of guilt.
Can I ask you guys a question then? I think we're all kind of on the same page with the 6 months. Like, that was really her call. Like, is she okay with it? Because if she's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Well, and the DA may have felt like that's all they could get.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe she would, I don't know. You know what I thought would have been more fair? This is just Anthony's personal opinion. Pay her more money. What was that? What'd you say?
Gen Pop.
No.
Put the brother on the yard.
No, he's older and frail. No. My thing was pay her more money. I think there had to have been a higher restitution, personally. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I want to make it more complicated. But you think about this happened, some time ago, and did he truly repent of this and live the life you see his ministry blessed?
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I got a question coming for that.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
I'm gonna bring up this question, but
but this is criminal. So on the civil side, she might because he pled guilty. Her civil side should be pretty easy.
But I think he should though. That's my point. Okay, so here's where I was going. He's 68 or 69 years old. Oh, okay. So what? He's lived 3/4 of his life. Had 2 near-death experiences. He's lived all his life already. What? What? You're gonna see him rot in prison for what? A couple years? That's how I look at it. Whereas no, you made all this money. I've had to live through hell, all these therapy sessions, all this stuff, blah blah blah. Financially, I want restitution. To me, I'm not her, but to me that would just seem to make more sense if I was her. I think you owe me a few $1 million. That's all I was saying. And then okay, fine, the 6 months. I don't know, because I'm not she's probably not a spiteful person. I mean, she didn't sound very spiteful. Even in the letters to the board, she never asked for a lot of money. She didn't sound spiteful. Okay, but that brings up something that I was thinking about. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy myself. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, probably. But they opened it up and asked people to come forward if they had been abused by him at any given time. No one came. No one came forward. Not another hint of an allegation. Anything. Nothing. And if you guys remember, he said, James Robeson, when he led him through Freedom Ministries, you remember the joke? Nobody had what? More demons inside their soul than Robert Morris. And he said from that moment when he got free, he was free indeed. And that was after the abuse of Cindy Clementshire. Do you believe him?
What
do you believe Robert Morris when he says he got free from that?
It's very possible. Then I guess that's the thing that sort of bringing up was how is it possible he could have got free and lived this life for Christ? And how do you?
I have an answer, but
how should we view him now? I mean, we see people come in maybe who lived a certain life beforehand, come into church, you see their life change, but you don't know all the story of all. You don't hear about their victims, so you just see, look, this is great, let's hear their testimony, and we receive that and we're joyful over that. But now we're getting all the story. We're hearing from the victim. And so, rightfully so, it makes us upset. And we're not happy about it. But how should we view Robert Morris? And I don't know. I wish we were having this conversation on camera. But I don't know. But I think it's as complicated as believers. Because this is the thing. Christ loves Robert Morris and cares for him. And there's forgiveness in that. He could be in heaven next door to us. It's that's not crazy to think about. And so, yeah.
Once again, this is what makes Christianity different. This is why I tell people, you got to have us. There's a reason why the Bible says when we're taken away, when the church is removed, when the people of God are gone, this chaos breaks out. We keep the peace. I don't care what anybody says. But it was the Crusades in retaliation to the Muslims. And you say whatever you want. I got you an answer. Let's go back, Robert Morris, though. They opened it up for people to come out, anonymous or not anonymous, to claim they were victims. No one showed up. Do you think he got free? Do you think God did a work in his life?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it's possible. I probably would err on the side of yeah. But I would say that just because people didn't come forward doesn't mean that there weren't other victims.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew one of you was going to say that, but I would say this. How do you not come forward when you know it's an automatic dub and an automatic payday?
Because for some people, it's not about money. And for some people, it's reliving abuse. They don't want to relive abuse. They don't want to go down that road again.
If we were to say 100 people, how many people you think percentage-wise is that?
Maybe 10.
Okay.
Well, I think, man, I can see more. If you're already a woman that has a wife, you have kids. I mean, you have a husband, you have kids, and you want to come out now this would happen to me. I can see you I'm not doing that to my family.
Okay.
I'm not doing that to my kids.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with either of you. I'm just saying somebody else would have came forward. It's just
like
a
if he
game.
if he had a lot of people.
It's just a numbers
At least
game.
somebody.
It's just a numbers game.
I'll give you that.
That's all. That's all. Okay, especially when you know it's payday. It's a payday. My thing is, and the only reason I'm saying that is I believe him. I do. As a believer, I believe him. Is it 100%? No, I'm like that guy. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. You know.
Well, you can never be 100% about anyone.
No, you can't. Very true. That's what I'm saying. It's not 100%. But I would say I'm more belief than I am doubt. And I believe him when he said he had demons. And I believe him when he said he got freedom. And I believe he's lived that righteous life from that. Because I see it in the Bible. People do 180s. They have real life transformations. Does that mean you still don't have a consequence to your sin? Not at all. That means there's still a consequence to your sin, and he's living that consequence. But I believe, this is where I was going with this. I believe Freedom Ministries works. I believe Christ can set you free. I believe that with all my might, all my soul, that Jesus can do these amazing things. He can bring people from death to life. I really do. And so, yeah, I believe something happened in his life, and he was a changed man. But your sins will find you out, and this is exactly what happened.
I think the only reason why I might be in question about that is it wasn't clear from what I had read or heard how forthright he was about what he had done.
And that's what I have the problem with.
And so I think I would be a lot more confident in saying, hey, he got completely free had he been somebody who like stood on his mistakes.
And can I ask you something? Unfortunately, because he didn't, this is why we're here. Had he come out after he had found freedom and said, this is what I did. I have a question for you. Had he come out after he found freedom and said, this is what I did, like really owned it, and then said, whatever happens to me, happens to me. Let's say he goes away for a few years. You don't think God would have still had favor on his life and in his ministry in a dynamic way? What do you think?
No, I think it's possible. I mean, I think that's sort of what happened, right? But I don't think he was fully honest. Like, he stepped away for a few years, but it sounded like maybe he didn't tell everyone the full story.
Exactly.
Until maybe people told him that full story and he got some resolve, it could have. But, I mean, I don't know. He could have been in jail, too.
Well, here's the deal. You got to rewind 25 years ago or 30 years ago, whenever it was. It was a different time then.
But it still was against the law. I mean, that's why.
No, what I mean by, sorry, I'm talking about law-wise. I'm talking about social media, newspapers, all that outlets and stuff. People, it wasn't. I think he would have still had a successful ministry.
But he could have been locked up for 10 years.
He could have.
He didn't have the money or clout.
But a lot of that would have been on the parents pressing charges. Remember that. So that's what I'm saying. I just think, I think he short-sighted himself. He should have came clean when it first happened. That's my personal opinion. And God would have still used him, Freedom Ministries and everything. So that's unfortunate. Okay, well, I still Jesus
we ain't God.
Free.
We ain't got to be the judge.
Thank God. This stuff like this, does that make you happy about that? I'm happy.
I gotta get my heart right.
I got to get my, I tell people all the time, people come up, I'm worried about so-and-so. Why? Be worried about you and your heart. I said something yesterday in the sermon. Let's talk about the sermon. Man, the look on people's faces. I said that a lot of times when you see something in somebody else, you know where I was going with this. When you see something in somebody else and it gives you an animus or an angst or just rubs you the wrong way, it's normally because you have that same problem and you just haven't dealt with it yet. Ooh, Jiminy Crickets. You could have heard crickets everywhere. The look on the people's faces is like someone stepped on their bunion. You know what I mean? Like it was all bad. What would you think about that? What did you think about when I said that?
Yeah, I was talking to the team in the back, and I said, man, that really stuck out to me. I said, I just don't know how to apply it yet. I was like, man, it's just something to chew on. Because I was like, man, okay, what does this look like in my life?
Okay.
So I don't have an answer yet.
Okay.
But I knew exactly what you were going to talk about.
What about you, Bishop? We go to All Things Bible. You got an answer? You good? What we got? Help us.
I don't know. I have to think about it some more. I don't know if that. I can't really see that in my life. I don't know.
Oh, I know people who bother you.
No, but then that relates to me. Oh, people that bother me,
yeah.
but it's like the stuff I struggle with. I'm pretty aware of how horrible I'm at stuff.
What bothers you? It's a reflective question. It makes you ask the question, why does it bother me? What about it bothers me? Why is it bothering me now?
Yeah.
It's so many layers to that. And it's usually, it could be unresolved. Like, I'm supposed to talk to this person and confront him on something and I haven't done it. I should really be helping this brother in the Lord with his, whatever it is, XYZ. Hey man, I really just think he's a jerk to his wife. It's more introspective. It's the old Tim Keller scene. This person says, it really gets mad at me. I really get mad at people who look down on people. And Tim Keller goes, so what you're saying is you look down on people who look down on people. And the guy goes, no. And he goes, yeah, that's what you're saying. And that was the whole suggestive thought. And that's like, hey, you have to ask yourself a series of these questions of the XYZs. And you have to, basically my whole point yesterday was don't think you never don't have pride. That was the whole premise of the whole thought. You know, if we were to take it in full context, is we all struggle with pride, inferior, superior, whatever. We all struggle with pride. It's that secret sin. Just are you dealing with your pride? That's all. And that's really what it comes down to, because the one thing the Lord hates, pride. So anyway, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that now?
Yeah, I still have to think about some more. I mean, I understand. Yeah, I mean, one thing, even like as we did the podcast, and one thing I didn't like about myself, it was like, man, you talk a lot tougher than what you really are. Oh, like I did, like I was, because like if I'm face to face with someone, man, I always try to be kind with them. Like I want the best for you. And so I'm talking like I'm gonna talk to you, and I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to anyone that way. Like I might have that thought, but I'm never, because I always, no matter what your defect is, like man, I want to see the best in you. Okay. Like I'm hoping I can bring that out, and sometimes I mean it constantly backfires on me. Yeah. Like I think it's one of my flaws as a pastor. Like I give people, anyways, yeah, I gotta work on that. But I do want to see the best in people, and I'm never trying to judge people. I think I deal with inferior pride. I think I'm not good enough. And I think that's the thing I probably struggle with more. And it's like I'm too self-conscious, thinking like, oh man, what was me? Or it's like, no, just go get better. And I talked about that on Tuesday one time. It's like, hey, just go get better then. Stop living in that space. Like if you feel like you lack, like go get better at that. You
said that comment about that person at the gym. What if success always leaves
a clue?
Yeah. Success always leaves. I knew conceptually what that theory, that I just couldn't get that quote right, but success leaves, exactly. If you want to just go get better. I think for people though, I remember we're pastoring people in totality. What I'm trying to do is help people. And it's funny because humility is never comfortable. Humility never feels good. Humility never presents in an opportune time. Humility makes you work hard. And the number one thing you have to do is freaking deny yourself. Like you have to eat so much crow. So I'll pick on me. We all struggle with this thing, pride. And it sneaks in like the fog. Like I was talking about, like, you don't think you're prideful. And it was funny because it's not that I don't really like pastors, but just sometimes I just can't deal with all the drama that comes with it. I don't do the whole, let's see if we all measure up thing. I can't do all that. And I really don't, I just don't chase people. Like I don't need you in my life. I'm cool with what I got going on. Like, I mean, I'd love to be friends, but I don't need it, in other words. So, but that has its reverse effects, right? So now I'm not friendly. Now, I talk kind on the podcast, but then I'm a jerk when I'm not around the podcast. Like I'm the exact opposite of you. If you push my buttons hard enough, there's like a little, anyway. So stuff comes out. So I'm sitting there thinking, and I kid you guys not, I literally will tell myself on the way to whatever pastor's gathering we're going to, Anthony, you're going to be nice today. You're going to go make friends today. I'm talking about it like I'm a toddler. You will show yourself friendly. You will smile. You will say hi back. You will let the other person talk. And so I've read a lot of books on how to engage with other people and how to even stand, the posture, the body language, all that stuff. I really have. And you can ask my wife, she thinks I'm crazy. I'd be like talking to myself in like little mirror. You will be nice today. Practice your smile. Get rid of the vein in your eye. Massage the vein, all this stuff. And so we're at this last pastor's gathering. And I said, nope, I'm going to intentionally go out of my way with people who I've already preconceived and prejudged that don't like me. And you got to forget what you've heard, right? And you got to take thought every captive. So that's it. I went in and saying, I'm going to forget everything I've ever heard, and I'm going to take every thought captive. Nope. If an opportunity presents itself, I'm going to go show myself friendly. I'm going to take the first step. Boom. Every day. Just doing something, getting out of my comfort zone. And you would think after the second time, like, oh, okay, we in a little bit of a groove. Like, the pitches are going. Nah, still awkward, still hard, because it's pride. But I had some of the greatest conversations I've had in a long time. And I just felt like that was success leaves clues, right? I was going to say a trail, but clues. And now we've had dynamic conversations. It's blown me away. And you know what I think? Well, I'm hard on myself too. Dang it, Anthony. You could have had this 5 years ago if you weren't so stubborn. And it's true. And that's my thing about the pride. We don't know what relationships we're missing out on. We don't know the depth of spirituality we're missing on. We don't know what God has wanted to bring full circle in certain relationships, all because of our pride. And that's why I'm saying we have to check ourselves. Why? Because it could be fog right now. Right now you can see it creeping, and you turn around, next thing you know, it's right in front of you. And it's that sin amongst all sins, that original. And so that I'm just trying to get us to be humble people. And humble people forgive. Humble people go the extra mile. Humble people love. Humble people allow people to apologize. Right? So that's, I don't know. What was your thought on that?
I don't know what to add to that. You guys
were talking about how it, yeah.
Well, I will say one thing about you, Pastor Appreciation Month, and one thing I mentioned to you is how you changed over the past. And I remember it was at one gathering in Bakersfield, and it was probably I think Henry Cloud.
West Henry Cloud.
Yeah. And
before he blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, he tore up that anyway.
Well, he had that accident. He said
was that what
he was
it
on
was?
painkillers and stuff because
I thought he was on. I thought he was just on drugs.
No, he was on drugs, over the counter drugs, but
some drugs and some Merlot.
He was riding bikes with his kid.
Oh, okay.
And he got thrown. Yeah, he said that in the Q&A.
Oh, I thought
he must have missed it.
Yeah. We all started laughing.
Oh, I thought he was just drunk.
No, he did look like he was like tore up.
I know what sauce he's on.
No, we talked about this. We always thought that.
Well, yeah. It wasn't led with like he's pastoring in the class. It was his doctor in the class. I thought this guy's just a smart guy. He's just,
no.
He likes his sauce.
He'd actually gotten to, anyway, I didn't know you guys didn't know that.
All
these years, I didn't know you guys didn't know that. Okay, anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
But you're sitting in front of us, and you turn around after like one of the sessions. You said, sorry, I've been a jerk as a father, jerk to you guys. And I want to apologize. You just turned around, but that always stuck in my head. Like I'll never forget that because it was like, no, I'm gonna do better. And it was just like, but it's humility to do that. Like I could tell, like you're super uncomfortable. You didn't want to say it, but you said it, and that's why I was like, man, I'll always give you credit for even that throughout your life. And it's like that's one reason I'm willing to follow you is because you're always willing to be humble in those aspects. So yeah.
But I like how I turned around and walked away. I was like, all right, it's too much emotions. Gotta go. Thank you for saying that. I think that, part of it is just realizing who you are and your shortcomings. I think people respect people who are aware of their shortcomings, though. And I tell people all the time, there's no shame in owning it. If you have a mulligan, you have a mulligan. And as long as you're willing to grow and you're willing to do things, it was at that conference that I changed my philosophy. And I realized that I was hard, short, at times venomous to people who were really good to me. The people who were good to me ended up getting not the best of me because I knew what I was capable of. And the people who weren't that good to me were getting the best of me. The first of my times, the first of my responses. And I took those people for granted, people like you. And that's why I said, I ain't doing that no more. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm not going to be a jerk like that no more. You're going to get the best of me. And I just decided, it reprioritized my whole life. It really did. And, I'm just grateful that people were kind and compassionate and said, hey, that's a leader I want to follow. And I respect that. You guys had always saw that good in me. So that's what I would say. I tell people that all the time. There's no, I too try to lead with kindness and compassion. And I try to lead with, caring and all these things. But we all have bad days. It just happens from husbands to being fathers to being brothers. This just happens, right? And I think that's something that we got to own. And to me, that's pride, though. And when you move in the opposite of pride with humility, people go the extra mile for you. That's the thing that I think pride fools you on. You think, no, I gotta appear tough. I gotta do this. Those type of people who follow you like that, they're not gonna follow you all the way through. But the people who follow you in your humble moments and your broken moments, those people are gonna go to bat for you. And I mean to tell you, I refuse to let the enemy win. I refuse. And even at the cost of me eating massive amounts of crow, I will go apologize. That's just who I am. It's like, nope. And I'm this way for this reason. I decided and determined, going back to our Daniel lesson, which we got to talk about Daniel here in a minute. This is getting all crazy now. This is ending up with some dreams. I go back to he purposed in his heart. He determined, right? I determined a long time ago that I do not want to get to heaven. And I mean, do not want to get to heaven. And God say to me, I had this plan for you. But because of you and your arrogance, you dammed up the blessings and you stood against my hand. And you could have had this. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I don't want that. So I'm willing to forfeit the pride. Like, okay, Lord, I'll go humble myself. And boy, I mean to tell you, the fruit that you get to eat of living a humble life is a lot sweeter, and it's a lot better, more nourishment, than the prideful one. So that's why I try to live my life by principles. People say, how do you live your life? I try to do it by values and principles, to be honest with you. And so that's a value and a principle. So anyway, that's the thing. So yeah, Pastor Appreciation Month. So appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. Yeah, living that life of pride is like a constant fight. Like you're just constantly fighting for everything. And the life of humility is hard because you wrestle with the tension. It's like that flesh wants to still fight, but that when you're humble, like you have to admit, like you messed up, admit that you're wrong, and admit you fill in the blank. But like it's that tension. Like I can feel it sometimes. It's like, ooh, but I want to fight. And it's like, no, like you're wrong.
How about all the more when you know you're right though? All the more when you know you're right. Like, no, I'm right. I know. I'm right. And the Lord's like, it's not about who's right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's always about who's right.
Who's right? It's about who's right. You're over there telling the Lord yes, but you really say no, yes, no, yes. And I think that's that struggle, though, right? Is like, but Lord, I'm right. But Lord, they did this to me, or I'm in the right here. They're in the wrong here. Right? You see what I'm saying?
That they need to learn a lesson,
bro. It's my favorite line, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, who are you to teach them?
How about if the Lord said, how about you learn that lesson? You're like, well, who's teaching? I'm going to teach you. Let's not learn that lesson then. I bypass. No, you're right. You're right. I think this is a perfect segue. So Halloween is upon us, just a couple weeks away. We have to do this every year because every year we get the questions. Every year people ask. Every year people wonder. Pastors are already taking to Facebook. Some are literally going to like the Halloween stores and the Home Depots and taking videos by cameras of these goblins and goons and, what do you call it, like Walking Dead people and witches. And is this what your church is going to celebrate? What fellowship does light have with darkness? And we're all doing this.
You going to hell.
Oh, going to hell for sure. You leading people to hell with your candy.
That comedian Chloe's just for the streets because we're in the princess outfit.
Who? Was that John Chris?
John Chris.
Can you find that real quick? We have to show the audience. Yeah, Chloe. Because what was it again? Chloe.
She wore like a Princess Elsa costume. And
remember
it was like,
that?
oh yeah, and they're like, oh, now Chloe's for the streets now. That's it.
Okay. Why do I remember that? And was that the funniest thing we had ever watched? Okay, you know what? Pause the podcast. We're going to show you the clip because we're going to find it. Watch this.
You were not allowed to celebrate Halloween. Make some noise.
And that's crazy. I grew up the same. You better have your head on that pillow before the sun goes down, or the devil is getting a foothold in your life.
Because we believe in a God that can raise dead people from the ground and heal the sick. But a 6-year-old girl wears an Elsa dress, and God's like, nothing I can do. He's like, Chloe's for the streets now. Last Halloween, I had the weekend off. I went home. I was like, let me see what's going on in Railroad Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Let me just pop on into my parents' house. I walk into the house. My mother, my Christian rapture mother, has my nephew by the hand in a Freddy Krueger mask. She goes, John, chill out. It's just a little bit of candy. Excuse me? I will burn this house to the ground. Just a little bit of candy. What happened?
He said, "My Christian rapture mother."
Well, because he said growing up, he couldn't have TV in his house. They
Right.
literally didn't have a TV. They
Right.
need TV to go watch the World Series.
And she changed
And
that.
it completely changed everything now.
He said, "I will burn this house down."
Close for the streets.
Chloe's best one line ever. Our God, who can raise people from the dead. 1 6-year-old girl should have been Elsa's dress. Nope, can't help her. Okay, we're making light of it, but I had to. That was super funny. So I already got phone calls. Already got some text messages. Pastor, what do we do about Halloween? Right. And so we shot a podcast on this last year. You can go back. We can even throw that link to last year's podcast. Don't want to rehash the whole thing. However, I do want to say this, and I'm going to show you a clip of a former Satanist who is now a Christian. If your faith is at a place where you can't be around the occult and demonic things, I would strongly advise you and strongly encourage you to stay home and to not participate in any even church events, but to get a few friends around you and pray and really do as the Spirit leads you to push back against what you are familiar with, because that is a time of great spiritual sensitivity. That's what I would say. Kind of like what Paul said. If your faith doesn't allow you to eat pork, no ribs. Okay? And if your faith does allow you to eat pork, we'll get some good ribs. If they're good, you don't need sauce. I'm just throwing that out there. Make sure the rub is slightly on the salty with a little bit of hickory, if that's for me. But that's what we're saying. But I do think people need to pray and ask the Holy Spirit how he wants to lead them. There might be people who say, I just feel like I need to walk my neighborhood and pray. Then walk your neighborhood and pray. I will tell you this. Do not come to me and tell me the Holy Spirit told you to participate in some costume party that everybody's dressed up as demons and witches. I don't think that's the Holy Spirit. I can show you scripture. Do not tell me the Holy Spirit told you can go to a party, dress salacious, and get drunk and end up with a different boo. Okay? That's not the Holy Spirit. So you better watch yourself. Okay?
I like to think of his little boo costume.
Oh, no. No. Different boo. Okay? So you got to be careful. Okay? Don't be blaming stuff on the Holy Spirit when it's your flesh. I want you to watch this clip, and I want to get a little bit of feedback now that I said all that. Watch this.
The truth about Halloween. Halloween is the highest day on the satanic calendar. It is the most probably important day on the satanic calendar. It's considered a high day. It is also the night of the year where there is the most human sacrifice on the whole planet. So if we look at it in let's call it the popular culture aspect first. So many people think Halloween is about candy and it's about dress up, but they don't question the meaning behind it. So let's say, for instance, in a neighborhood or an area, there's homes that celebrate Halloween, where they put up the decorations and they do the pumpkins and they do the candles and the candy, those things, right? And it's fun. Let's say in a neighborhood, there is houses that do that. So that whole perimeter becomes one big satanic ritual for that whole neighborhood.
Wait. So you're telling me, because I've got them already up, it's September. There's skeletons, there's creepy stuff in our neighborhood already. So you're saying my neighborhood right now is cooked? Like, what are you saying there?
So I'm saying that in a neighborhood or a area perimeter where there is a few homes, that is already a set up as in terms of a hotspot for demonic activity. And anybody, whether they're Christian or non-Christian, that have open doors, that moves or lives in a neighborhood like that will be affected. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what do we do as Christians?
So, firstly, we make sure that we are in righteous standing with God, that we do not have any hidden sin or open doors in our life, that we are in a righteous covenant with Him. So, if we can get there, that is a very good place to start. And then it is about praying, like being in serious prayer, that people who celebrate Halloween, whether they're being a Satanist or an atheist or someone having fun, that whilst they're doing that they will actually have a true encounter with Christ.
Any just first thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
What part did you struggle with? Like which part?
Well, I mean, the biggest part I struggle with is like, make sure you're right standing with God. Like you have to, a believer has to continue to check themselves. Otherwise, you're just going to be demon possessed and taken over and you're on your way to hell.
I think like that was the thematic music behind that.
This scary position that
right.
Make sure you go confess every single thing. Otherwise, you're under attack.
Like,
man, the whole idea of Christianity is you're in right standing with God because He declared you righteous. Now, do you have to deal with your sin, repent, like work on stuff? Yeah, there's sanctification taking place.
Right.
So, but you don't have to walk in this fear.
You don't like I guess you don't like the overemphasis and exaggeration.
Listen to this. I'm not scared of the demons.
Yeah, and you're not supposed
I don't
to.
walk in fear of demons.
And so, I was
thinking, now people have been exposed to this stuff. Obviously, he lives in that world, and there's some stuff he has to live a different way. I don't know. I never lived that way. I don't feel I have to either.
Right. No, I get you. Yeah. What about you? What'd you think of that? Just first thoughts on it.
First thoughts on it. It was interesting when he had talked about the perimeter.
Yeah.
But I think I understood what he was talking about in regards to like you opening the doors to the demonic. So it's not necessarily like people are like full on being intentional witches and things like that as they're setting up these homes.
Right.
People are just opening up the door to the demonic.
Right.
Which I totally agree in regards to that.
So, okay.
So if you put up a pumpkin in your front yard.
No, I don't think he was talking about pumpkins.
I think he said that, didn't he?
No, he said
he talked about skeletons.
Okay.
Stuff that.
All right.
So here's where I'm at. You guys know me. I'm pretty much in the middle on some things. Although I do believe in the spiritual realm. This is why I try to tell people. I believe in the demonic. I believe in the spiritual. I believe in demon manifestations and possession. I believe in all that. I just don't live in fear of it. You know this. I don't think there's a demon behind every doorknob. That's not me either. However, now, and I'm not arguing with myself. I'm just explaining myself. So please, nobody think I'm arguing with myself. Yes, I do know this to be a high holy day of the enemy. But here's the deal. He doesn't own any days. The Lord is the Lord over all the earth, period. He owns the time. Okay. We all are subject to that, times and seasons. Second, I do realize there are people out there with bad intentions that night, and they want to bring in the foul into my neighborhood. This is why I say go reclaim the night. Go make a well-lit area, put on worship music and Jesus music, bring the people to you, shine the light so bright because darkness does not like the light. Be the church. Talk about Jesus. Show people that you could still have a good time and that you don't got to glorify the devil. Go and build relationships. Go pray for people. Go sock the devil in his face. That's just me. That's how I look at it. If he's going to set up a perimeter, I'm going to set up a perimeter. I'm going to push back against that. That's a football player in me, right? You know what I mean? That's a football player in me. Oh, you're going to hit me? Well, I'm going to hit you twice. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make it so attractive for people to come here that people are going to be like, what's going on? And we're going to, hey, this is a church. We're going to invite you to church. We want you to come meet Jesus. You can't win an offended person, but you can sure make a friend of somebody who has a sweet tooth, and you can win them that way. That's how I look at it. Like I agree with what he's saying. I agree that some people are going out there and they're going to be there are believers who are naive enough. They're going to go do some stupid stuff. He's right. And that is an open door. You come complaining, talking about all of a sudden you're having bad dreams. Well, you slept with her. And her has got some issues, a lot of issues. Over here talking about she a witch and she done hit you with some voodoo and she make you drink some juice or something. Like, yeah, now you got problems. You got to be careful. Yeah, anyway, you got you some spiritually transmitted diseases, okay? That's all I got to say. But you over here talking about, you love the Lord, and can you put on some worship music? Well, you should have thought about that before you went home with her. That's all I got to say. I don't know where I was going with that.
Not really. Not really sure either, but for whoever that is, I'm concerned for them.
Open door.
Yeah.
Open door.
Yeah.
Open door.
Close that door. Lock that mug.
Shut the door. Get rid of the door. Get rid of the door. So I think that's what but my whole point in showing you that, you said it. My whole point in showing you that, Deshaun, was there are people who are extra sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Listen, man, listen. I'm going to just pick on me, okay? Because maybe I was picking on somebody. Anthony, this is Anthony, okay? I don't put this on you guys. You guys know me, so I'm not telling you anything y'all don't know. I'm just telling people. I don't really like being around alcohol. And I don't like being around people who are smoking weed and just doing that type of partying, okay? And there are pastors, don't smoke. I don't know that they smoke weed, but I know they drink. I still don't feel comfortable. Like, I get edgy. Some people would say moody. Okay, I'll give it to you. Maybe it's moody. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I mean, I'm better than what I was. Before, I would just be there 5 minutes and leave. Now I can at least hang out for a little bit, but I still don't feel comfortable. That's just me, though. I don't put that on anybody. I don't tell nobody how to live their lives. I just know I don't feel comfortable. And I had to pray about it. I just told my wife, I don't feel comfortable. I got a lot of bad memories. Stuff I did to myself, stuff that happened to me, stuff that I saw, witnessed. I just don't have good memories. So, and I come to the conclusion that it's okay for me not to feel comfortable. And yet I don't judge nobody. I don't go around and try to convert people. Hey, you shouldn't be drinking. I don't do any of that. Does that make sense? Mm. But so I get the whole sensitivity thing, right? Like my wife, she does not like watching war movies where there's a lot of blood. I love those movies. Like Lone Survivor, 12 Strong, Benghazi, 13 Hours. I like all those movies, especially when the bad guys are losing. Like I get juiced. Like I'm like, yeah, let's go lift weights. She's like, yeah, I'm like, what? You didn't like that? He got him. I get it. Are you tracking with me? But I don't put that on nobody. And I think that's a level of maturity that I realize in myself. I am sensitive. Some people will say too sensitive, but I am sensitive. But as a grown adult, I can remove myself from that situation and say, listen, I don't got to partake in that. I can hang out for a little bit and I can go on my own way. And I think I understand where he was coming from. Where he was in the he was a satanic priest, so of course he's going to be extra sensitive.
Well, because I would think probably one of my biggest issues. I don't think some things are spiritual. I think you got a problem. Like people have a problem. Like what you blame on the spirit is like you need some more self discipline.
Yeah, that's
just your struggle. No, there's not. This is a spirit that you want you to drink. You just you need to stop hanging around people who drink.
Right.
Like, and that's the barrier that you need to set up.
Yeah.
And other people can handle that. Because if it's spiritually bad, it's spiritually bad for everyone.
It is. Yeah. Your brother can't say, well, the devil making me drink. No, actually, no. No, you drinking.
So would you put like scary movies into that category? Like they're spiritually bad for everybody.
They are. And see, that's one of those ones. That's one of those ones where I try to educate believers. Like, you probably don't want to have a Halloween marathon. It's inviting demonic activity. It just is.
I agree with that. Yeah.
No, I know you do.
But I think that's probably something that we as pastors probably witness the most.
Yes.
Is the entertainment when it comes to Halloween. Mm-hmm. Like, I think most people probably who have been in church for a while understand like the dress up, that they should be somewhat appropriate when it comes to the dress up. But I think it's the movies that I personally see the most of people who are in church who are professing Christ and watching some crazy scary movies.
And that's where I advise against. I'm like, hey, listen, they're giving glory and honor to the enemy. You probably don't want to put yourself. But okay, I will say this.
And they take their kids too.
They do.
Even some cartoons like the seasonal ones.
Yeah,
you have to be careful with those.
Yeah, and my whole deal is. This is where you as the parent, you have to really pray this through. And if you need to, get some biblical counsel and say, hey, is this something that I should be doing? And we're going to shoot you straight. We're going to shoot you straight because you don't know what your kids are sensitive to. Yeah, it may not bother you, but they may be having some sleepless nights now because of what you subjected them to. And I think that's what's important to understand. So having said all that, I really do, like I said, I really do try to walk in balance, and there are certain things that are just what we would call that non-negotiable, and you really need to pay attention, and you need to go get counsel. Since I said counsel, that's the other thing that concerns me. Who people listen to. We'll talk about Daniel next week, only because what are we reading right now? Goat horns, 2 goats, two horns. I mean, I know you said a little bit of explanation.
4 horns, lots of horn. Horn got bigger.
No, that's because the eye got knocked off the horn, and then there was a hand that wrote on the wall, mini, tinny, or whatever it was.
But don't worry, it's going to be like 12,000 days until it happens.
Right, 7 sevens.
But nobody knows. And
so everybody bear with us. We'll do a little bit of Daniel next week because we ourselves need to study a little bit more for Daniel next week. And so, but we'll be in Revelation right after Daniel. So we're having some fun.
Oh, man, nobody told us that, man.
Yeah, I told you now. I forewarned you, but they go hand in hand. So let's just say Daniel is all about don't be prideful. Okay. Brings me to, I have a concern that we have to be careful. We have to weigh the words people speak to us. And I heard a quote. Truth is best lived out if it's discovered by oneself. Truth is best lived out if it's discovered by oneself. In other words, people could tell you the truth, but when you have to discover that truth, it's going to hit a lot different because you're probably going to apply it in a different way. And I thought about that because I thought about you really got to be careful who you listen to. And you really got to make sure, especially when it's coming to some of life's harder problems, that you really get good, sound biblical advice. That's the key words. Sound biblical advice. And that concerns me because some people are just asking their friends or they're asking who they think is a mentor. And these people don't really know the Bible. And so they'll say something like, God forgives those who forgives themselves. That's not true. That's not true. God forgives. Even if you don't forgive yourself, God still forgives because God's a forgiving God. Anyway, you understand where I'm going with this. And so I thought we would close today because there's going to be people who ask other people about Halloween. They're going to get all sorts of answers and, all this stuff, even on the movies, right? And on the music and all that. But what advice would you give to somebody that, that would help them to find good, sound, biblical advice? Is there a process? Is there a step? Like when you go looking for biblical advice, what's your litmus test, right? And even if you ask a person and you feel like that wasn't good biblical advice, what do you do with that? Like, walk us through, if you're looking for an answer, how do we find good, sound biblical advice?
Man, that's hard for me now. I mean, everyone I talk to, I trust. So
talk about when you're first starting out. Yeah. Marriage, whether it was marriage or job or direction.
Man, I mean, that's really how I ended up at Adventure. I was looking for the people who are the same age as me, trying to live the same way, And so I know I remember just like stuff I think by now is crazy. Like even though I was buying a car, I called you. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, what do you think? What do you think about this? Because I just wanted to make a good decision because obviously you're in ministry and it's like there's a cost to it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like I don't want to stretch myself financially too much. It was like, hey, what do you think about this? And get your advice. I didn't have to call you and ask you anything. There's no requirement at the church.
Yeah, but what made you then? Okay, talk about that.
What made you what?
What made you call?
Oh, because I think, like I was saying, like you're in ministry too. Like, hey, should I take on this loan? Like, hey, I'm not. Is this or should I just go buy something cash because I don't want to put myself in that situation. And so you being in that same situation, in the past and the sacrifices you had to make, you understood the situation I'm in. Okay. Other people might not understand that. Like, oh no, who cares? Go get another job. Like, well, I don't got time for all that. Like, This is the life I'm in now. Is this the best decision? So finding someone, I guess what you talked about before, find someone who's already been successful in what you're doing, living the way that you want to live, and go ask them, hey, how did you get there? Okay. How'd you get to the place you're at? I sort of want to, take some of those cues and live my life the way you do.
Okay. Did you ever run into a case where you did that and you felt like that wasn't exactly good biblical advice? And then what did you do with that?
Not that I can think of. No.
Well, let's say it did go against God's word in the sense of, they told you should co-sign or you should do something that's kind of opposite what the Bible says. What would you have done with that? Would you have still prayed about it, or would it have been an absolute quick no?
Yeah, you should definitely move slow. I know there was someone who got some advice that I didn't fully agree with, just about like business and things like that. And I know what they did, it sort of just moved a little bit slower. And they sort of like, guy eventually spoke to them. Not necessarily that the advice was completely bad, but it was like, that's not the direction he's taking me.
Oh, okay.
And so they went a different direction. It's like, hey, I didn't take that advice. That may have been good for you. Even that person was really successful, made a lot of money, but it was like, that's not where God's leading me.
Okay.
And so I'd be willing to that. And a big thing that I'm thankful for, even like with you, is like we have, discussions. You let us talk. We talk about it. You never, like you showing here, you never tell me, hey, you got to think this way. It's really just like, hey, we discuss it. And I take that to heart because obviously I trust you. And I can continue to think. I can continue just to think on those things. Not just like this defiant, no, you're wrong. Like, this is what it is. It's like, no, it's just really going to benefit me. Like, should I go this direction? Because I see what God has done in your life. And it was like, I really take that to heart. And I think finding those people in your life who you really seen be successful, who are following Christ, even if you disagree, be willing to like really pray about that and mull on it and really take that to heart. Don't be so quick to just reject everything.
No, that was good. What about you? What would you do in that scenario where somebody gave you advice, but you kind of viewed it a little differently in the Bible? Like you didn't really think that matched up the whole way. I love what he said. He said you take it a little slower. What would you do though? What would you do? Would you automatically throw it away, or would you push back a little bit and get more clarification?
I think it just really depends on the situation. I mean, like, let's say it was you, right? Like you're my pastor, and then we have multiple layers of our relationship. So I think it depends on like if it's our relationship and you're saying, hey, I think we should do something like this, or you should view it this way. I'm definitely going to approach that in a certain way rather than like if somebody who's maybe a peer is saying, hey, when you fill out your job application, you should do it this way. Or if I feel like they're out of bounds, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I remember something years ago where somebody was like, hey, I think it was like some type of, somehow I was going to get some money back for something.
Okay.
And they were Christians, and they said to do it this way, and I was like, I'm not doing that way.
Right.
So for me, it was like an automatic, like, no, I don't care what you do. What you answer to God. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I think going slow depending on the relationship, and then also at the same time depending on what's being asked of you. But I will say this, as Deshaun was speaking, it's like I think the initial question that you had asked was, how do you find people, or do you remember how you asked it?
Yeah, how do you find people for good biblical counsel?
Yeah, so one of the things that I have become extremely leery with over the years is people who don't answer to anybody else.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead, dig on that a little bit. Yeah.
And so we were talking about, not we, but another group of people I was with the other day were talking about how, people will sometimes kind of like grow in the ranks of Christianity. Okay. And they feel like, because of years of service and all these different things. And now they become like this guru that people are supposed to go to for all the information and life's, advice. I'm like, bro, you don't even have a pastor. Wow. Why am I going to listen to you?
Wow.
Like there's some very basic principles that like, if you don't do and boxes you don't check, I'm never going to listen to you.
Wow.
But I learned that over time.
Okay.
And there was definitely people earlier on in my Christian walk who I bent my ear to because they were Christians and they had been in the game for X amount of years. And so I just assumed because of that, that the advice that you were giving me was good advice. And the advice that they were giving me oftentimes was bent from like their previous hurts, their previous church experiences, their walk with Christ, their unsubmission to other leadership, and a lot of their rebellion. And they weren't necessarily, I don't think their intentions were bad, but their advice was very unhealthy. Wow. And so if you are somebody who's like wondering whether or not this person is giving you sound biblical advice, let's start with like, how do they live their life? Do they have very basic boxes checked in the faith?
That's so good.
And if they don't have those very basic boxes, like a submission to authority, service in a local church, tithing, like some very basic things that would show you what their standing is inside of the church community, I'm not listening to you.
Well, he nailed that one. That was good. I just saw you were laughing when he said that. Yeah, they rose up in the ranks. Yeah, that's so good. I would just literally add just this small thing. I always look for people who want something for me, not something from me. And I've been blessed and been privileged to have the Pastor Jerry's and the Pastor Ron's in my life who didn't want anything from me. They just want something for me. And I've been privileged. I've been blessed. These men of God. I mean, there's nothing I could do for those guys. They're really, these are sages. These guys are so far ahead of me. I carry your bag. You know what I mean? I could do that. But they wanted something legitimately for me. And that changed everything. And so I would just encourage you, the person who's speaking into your life, do they want something from you or do they want something for you? There's a huge difference. Before I close, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm wearing one of our pink shirts. I would just encourage all of our listeners from wherever you're listening to, take a moment and pray for the cure. 1 in 5 women will have an issue or a diagnosis or something of that nature with breast cancer. And I want to live in a generation that says, hey, we helped to pray for the cure. Here at Adventure Church, we have a saying, we don't just help pray for the cure, we also help pay for the cure. So this month, we will be doing a generous donation to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. So do me a favor and pray for the cure. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Peace. We're out.